Hello friends, welcome back to the YouTube channel. So we are starting with the unit 1 of information storage and retrieval subject which is of final year information technology, that is B information technology semester 7. So and this will be according to the SPPU syllabus 2019 pattern. So the first unit is introduction to information retrieval. So we'll first look at the syllabus for this unit 1. So unit 1 is basically having three main topics, which is basic concepts of IR, then automatic text analysis and clustering techniques. So now this basic concepts of IR is having subtopics. So first is data retrieval and information retrieval. Second is text mining and IR relation, and third one is the IR system block diagram. Similarly, these two topics are having their subtopics under them. So here we have loose idea, conflation algorithm, and these subtopics. And in clustering techniques, we have three algorithms. Okay, so for this video, we'll only cover with the two subtopics of basic concepts of IR, that is the data retrieval and information retrieval, and second subtopic is text mining and IR relation. So before starting with the actual subtopic, that is data retrieval and information retrieval, we'll first understand what is data, information, and retrieval. Okay, so what is data? So data is collection of raw facts and figures, or you can say that data is unprocessed form. Then data is collected from different sources for different purposes. Okay, so data is collected from different sources. Then data may consist of numbers, characters, symbols, pictures, etc. As this is the unprocessed form, so it may have this combination, that is numbers, characters, symbols, pictures, etc. Alphanumeric. Then data need not have meaning to everyone, so it is not necessary that data must have the meaning. So data is mostly meaningless. Then it is independent entity. Okay, so now let's move to the next concept, that is information. So information is nothing but the processed data or processed form of data is called as information. So this unprocessed data is converted into the information by processing this data. So this information is organized and processed form of data. Then information is more meaningful than data. Okay, so as we said that data is mostly meaningless, so information adds meaning to that data. So that's why it is said that information is more meaningful than data, and it depends on data. Okay, and the third concept is retrieval. So retrieval is nothing but to fetch something or to access something. Okay, so now we'll understand the types of data. So basically the data is categorized into the three types. First is structured data, second one is unstructured data, and third one is the semi-structured data. So structured data, from the name itself, we understand that any data which is having a definite structure, model, or fixed format and is highly organized is called as a structured data. In simple words, the data which is follows or which is having a fixed structure is called as structured data. So for example, you can consider the relational databases such as SQL, where data is organized or stored in the form of rows and columns with named tables. So in relational database, we store the data in the form of rows and columns, and the records inside that are related to that particular columns, right? So every column, that is the attribute, has some information related to it in the form of records. Okay, so every columns or the attributes contains the records and they are related with each other. Okay, so this is all about the structured data. Now next is the unstructured data. So what is unstructured data? So unstructured data means which does not have the standard defined structure or a fixed structure and data model is called as unstructured data. And the data is irregular because it does not have a fixed structure, so it can be in any form. Then it is a combination of text, numbers, audio, video, images, post, etc. And if, for example, we can have the PDF documents. So in PDF documents, there is not a fixed structure which we have to follow. So it may contain the images, it may contain the text. Okay. So this is the unstructured data. Then third is the semi-structured data. So from the name only, we can say that it is semi-structured. So it means what? It is partially structured and partially unstructured data. So data that may have a certain structure but not all information collected will have identical structure, that is partially structured data. So example is email. So in emails we can have a particular structure for the name, then CC, then BCC, then subject. So this follows some specific structure, right? But that is not case in the message text area. Okay, in that we can have the attachments, and the attachments can be image, video, audio, zip files. So that comes under the semi structured data. So to make it clear, we have this diagram. So here you can see that structured data is organized in the form of rows and columns, and they follows a fixed particular structure, while semi structured data, it follows structure, it follows the structure, right? It follows structure, some structure, but does not completely follows the structured data. Okay, so it is some sort of unstructured as well as structured data. Here this is unstructured data, so you can see that it does not follows any structure, and it is randomly arranged data, and most of the data available on the internet is in the form of unstructured data. Okay, so now we'll move to the first important topic under the basic concepts of IR. So that is the data retrieval and information retrieval, and we'll understand this concept in the form of this difference between them. Okay, so first is data retrieval. From the name only we can understand that it will retrieve data, right? But how it will retrieve data? So it will retrieve data based on the keywords in the query entered by the user. Okay, so it will retrieve data based on the query. So whatever the user will enter the query, it will retrieve data according to it. And in information retrieval, it retrieves information based on the similarity between the query and the document. So before understanding this, we can understand the example. So first example is the SQL for this data retrieval, and Google search engine is the example for this information retrieval. So in SQL, we type a query, right? We give a query, and according to the query, we'll get the output. So this is nothing but it retrieves data based on the keywords in the query entered by the user. And in information retrieval, we type a text or a sentence inside the search box which is provided on the Google search engine, and depending upon the similarity between the text that we have entered and in that search box and the document repository, whatever the documents are stored inside that documentary repository, so it will display that records which matches with our query. Okay, now next point is it has defined structure with respect to semantics. Okay, so it has defined structure, so basically it deals with the structured data. And here information retrieval, so it deals with the unstructured data, so it is ambiguous and does not have a defined structure. Okay, now next is the there is no room for error since it results in complete system failure. Okay, so in SQL we have to follow a particular syntax. If our syntax is wrong, we'll not get the output, and in some cases it might happen that it will result in complete system failure. Okay, so here there is no room for errors, while in information retrieval small errors are tolerated and will likely go unnoticed. So here even if you do small spelling mistake, it will be tolerated and you will get the output. Okay, now next is the data retrieval system produces exact results. So whatever you have given the query, you will get the exact results. Okay, but that is not the case in the information retrieval. You will not get the exact results, you will get the approximate or relevant results. Okay, so even suppose if you have typed something in the search box, then you will not get a particular single record, you will get a set of relevant documents. So that is nothing but the information retrieval system produces relevant results. Then here displayed results are not sorted by relevance, but in information retrieval results are sorted by relevance. Now next is the data retrieval. So data retrieval, it uses the deterministic model. Okay, so as I have said that it needs to follow some data model, so that model is nothing but the deterministic model. So you can remember this with in deterministic there is D, while and also in the data retrieval data there is D. So you can remember this, that in data retrieval you have the deterministic model, while in information retrieval we have the probabilistic model. And example we have already seen, SQL is the example for data retrieval, and Google search engine is the example for information retrieval. So this is all about the data retrieval and information retrieval. Thank you. So now we'll move to the next subtopic, that is text mining and IR relation. So what exactly is the relation between these two? So first is the mining. So mining is the process of extracting some meaningful information from a chunk of meaningless data. So basically this mining extracts information, and information is meaningful, right? So that's why it is said that it extracts meaningful information from a chunk of meaningless data. So data is meaningless. Whereas in information retrieval, it is a study that ponders about most effective ways of retrieving that extracted information to user needs. So mining extracts the information. So this information should be retrieved in a most effective ways to the user, right? So that's what the information retrieval is all about. Next is typical text mining task includes. So there are some tasks which are included under this text mining. So it includes document classification, document clustering, building ontology, sentiment analysis, document summarization, information extraction, etc. So these are the tasks which are performed by the text mining. Whereas information retrieval typically deals with crawling, parsing and indexing documents, and retrieving documents. So information retrieval is mostly related with the retrieval of the documents. Okay, efficient retrieval of the documents. You can say that the efficient retrieval of the documents. Okay, so crawling. Okay, we'll first understand what is crawling. So basically, the crawling is nothing but the process by the search engine which discovers the updated information about a web page. So suppose we have a blog page and the information is updated on that particular website. So that information will be discovered by this crawling process. Okay, and then depending upon that, it will save that information on the index servers. So index servers which will help the users to retrieve the information at a faster pace. Okay. Next is text mining attempts to discover information in a pattern that is not known beforehand, while information retrieval or search techniques requires a user to know beforehand what he or she is looking for, obviously. So whatever information we are trying to search on the internet, we are knowing beforehand that what we are looking for. Okay, so that is nothing but know we are knowing beforehand what we are trying to search for in the information retrieval, but that is not the case in the text mining. So these are the two topics that we have to cover inside this video, and we have covered it. So if you have any doubt inside these two topics, you can comment. And if you like the video, understand the concept, you can like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe the channel for more. So that's it for this video. We'll see in the next video.